All right, let's have a little fun as we get ready for the football season. And hopefully we're not, in a couple of weeks saying when does basketball season starts, as we have done so many times in the past. But look, we got the quadrant here. I got Derek Piper, Joey Wagner, Isaac Trotter, because we're going to have a little fun. Derek threw this out at me, and I'm going to throw him under the bus, Derek. So how about you tell the story? Let's throw our buddy under the bus here.
All right. So the dead of summer, as we wait to approach this football season, and as you know, you've been in the radio business. You talk a lot of Cardinals, Cubs throughout the summer, but you can only go so far with that. And you're trying to think of something fun. And I pitched to Lante an Illini basketball draft. Original idea, and it scared him off a little bit. 89 till present. I threw the caveat: can't pick someone that's played together, so they had to make tough decisions on building your roster. Ultimately, Lon, as this is going to surprise you, didn't want to do the research, and that scared him off a little bit. So he's like, I like the idea. It'd take me a while to get prepped for that. And he kind of just pushed that to the side. And it wasn't any further show plan discussion. So I pitched it to you. I said, hey, let's do an Illini basketball draft. And I know we've made some tweaks to it, but I'm excited for what we're going to put together.
Well, Isaac Trotter and I, when we did the radio together, that drafts were like our go-to thing. Just such good radio. It's such good fodder. But we decided to limit it even more because I didn't see the 89 team play. I didn't see Deion Thomas and Kawan Garris play. So we decided to go 2000s on. As us millennials, and I think Isaac is Gen Z, have seen these guys all play. So Isaac, I threw this out at him. He said, yes, I'm in. Because Isaac, you just love drafts.
I do. I actually had to be calmed down a little bit about drafts because when we did the radio show, you're like, no, we can't do a draft every single show. You have to space them out to make them worth it. But if I could, I probably would do a draft on a daily basis. So this is an easy yes.
Joey Wagner, how you feeling going into this one?
I'm sure I did much less research than anyone else here. I mean, it can't even be close.
Well, this is always fun. We get to rag on Joey throughout this draft potentially. So I have a board, but we did do a random generator. So we're going to do a snake draft. We're going to do 7 rounds. And I got a surprise for you guys here. Isaac and I threw this around last night. But Isaac Trotter got the first pick. So a lot of pressure on you, Isaac. Joey, you got the second pick, probably just a layup there. I got the third, and then Derek gets the snake pick 4 and 5, which is a pretty good place to be. But I'm going to we're going to do 5 starters and a bench guy. So your 6th man. But I'm going to throw a little curveball at you guys. There's been 4 coaches since 2000. We have to draft a coach too. So I'm going to find this fascinating when coaches get drafted, how important, how much value we put into them. So I figured that could be a little interesting too. How about you, Derek? What do you think?
I love it. It's kind of like the defense. You take a defense early as opposed to get the one you want, and then don't want to be the last guy stuck with the defense that's going to give up too many points. Yeah.
Is it valued like a defense or a tight end in like fantasy sports? So I'm going to be interested to do this. So let's kick this off. We got Isaac Trotter with the number 1 pick. Isaac Trotter, what are we going here, bud?
Yeah, so I think there's a safe choice and there's a risky choice. I'm going to ramp up my riskiness. There's only been 2 players named National Player of the Year for Illinois since 2000. I'm going with Ayo Dosunmu at number 1. I think
shocker already, boys.
I had to, and I get it. There's others that make a little bit more sense, but in the premise of Illinois basketball since 2000, you could argue no player has meant more to the program than what he inherited, what they were before he came, and what he turned them into. He committed to Illinois when it wasn't cool to commit to Illinois. He committed to Illinois when no one else was really on board. He committed to Illinois to a roster that didn't have much talent, and he came in and turned it around. I get arguably the best closer in college basketball history. I get a lead guard that's 6'5" that can guard multiple positions. I'm team big lead guard, so I'm good with that as my first pick. And he's one of the only 2 players since 2000 to win National Player of the Year. It wasn't consensus, but he did have a National Player of the Year on his resume. So I'm going Ayo Dosunmu 1. I get it, but I have to do it.
Derek, I got to get your reaction to that. What do you think?
Man, a little surprised for sure, but I get it. I get the argument for it. It's hard to, I think a lot of people would pick guards from that 05 team, maybe 2 of them, and then Frank Williams in that conversation as well. But I mean, we spent years talking about how awesome Ayo Dosunmu was, and I fully understand it, Isaac. I fully understand it.
Isaac, I had him number 2 on my board. So that I didn't find that crazy because what you're saying, I think he can play. He's 6'5", right? 6'4", long. He can play with anybody. You can play him 2 guard. You can play him a 1 if you want to draft a point later. So I don't hate it when you're building a roster, the versatility of him. All right, Joey Wagner, no pressure. Number 2, who you got?
Well, I'm not going to have a 35-second explanation for my choice like Isaac. D Brown. D Brown's the answer, and the official mantra of our team is going to be popping jerseys because that's the coolest thing that's happened for Illinois. That was awesome, and everybody has to do it. That's a requirement to be on this team.
All right, I feel pretty happy with how this played out because I got the number 1 guy on my board. I think the 2 guys you mentioned are the most iconic guys of these last 2 decades, but the best overall player is Darren Williams. He just makes everybody better. He's a big point guard, big shot maker, makes everyone better. One of the best players in Illinois history, and one of the best NBA players Illinois has ever produced, probably the best Illinois has ever produced. So I'm very happy with Darren Williams at number 3. Derek, who you got at 4?
I probably couldn't wait on this guy, knowing you played multiple lead guards together. Let's go a run of them. Frank Williams, Big Ten Player of the Year, first-round draft pick, a guy that put 30 points on Kansas in the Sweet 16 game, phenomenal passer, could score it. Also a clutch player as well. So I'll take Frank Williams. And here comes the tough pick at 5, because it'd be criminal to leave Kofi Coburn on the board, wouldn't it? And I'm not asking for your advice. I know we're competing here.
Not
There's another choice that I'm pondering as well, because I think there's certain position groups that aren't as deep. So if you take a guy at the top, it gives you a little bit more of an advantage. Oh man, this is tough. Let's go with it. Kofi Coburn. Right. We'll adjust the play style. I think we're gonna run a lot of pick and roll. Frank Williams, Kofi Coburn. We're gonna dominate the glass, and we'll work it out. We got to get some shooting later in the rounds, but 2-time consistent All-American, one of the few guys in Atlanta history to ever do that, and I'll take Kofi.
Yeah, Derek, I don't disagree, because if we passed on big men here, we're running a big risk when it comes around, because that's too many picks. So I'm going with another pick and roll combo that I think could be deadly. These guys did play together for 1 year, and it was a fantastic year for both of them together. I'm going Brian Cook, pick and pop guy, can score, can rebound. I might have some issues defensively, but offensively, this is going to be a very, very tough duo to stop. So I'm going to go Brian Cook with the 6th overall pick. Joey Wagner, you're up.
Shoot, did not think this was going to happen.
Hey, by the way, top 6 guys right off my board. Isaac, I don't know if you had that too. Like, that was my top 6 exactly.
I will take, boy, you look, anything I say, I'm going to get roasted, right? That's the fun we have here. Give me Brandon Paul. Joey. Give me Brandon Paul.
He's in this tier. He's in this tier for me, Joey. So I don't hate it. He was number 2 left on my board, so don't hate it.
Didn't hate that at all. I think that's a really good pick. He was in consideration for me, but if I have a lead guard like Io, I need a knockdown shooter. I'm going with Luther Head, one of the best 3-point shooters in the history of the program. I mean, I feel like that's an easy one right there. That's a layup, 15, 16 points a game there. So then I get the start here at the 3rd spot. And like Piper was talking about a little bit, there's some position groups that are a little bit tough, but I'm actually going to pivot here. I'm not going with another big man. I'm doubling down on shooting. I'm going to Corey Bradford. I want to have one of the best guard backcourts. I have Io, I have Luther Head, I have Corey Bradford. Good luck. I'm going to put some buckets up.
He went a little higher than I thought, to be honest with you. Corey is one of the best shooters in Illinois history, but I like his fit with your team because you got 2 guys who can defend. You got 2 long guys that can defend, so I don't hate it. Joey, you're up.
We're not going to be a tall backcourt, but give me Trent Frazier. We're just going to hit some buckets, play some defense.
All right, man. I need some guys that can defend. I need some guys that can get up and down the court. Because I got Darren and Brian. So I feel pretty good about that. Oh, man, but there's one guy just sitting there that I don't know if I can pass on. I'm going to have the best front court. James Augustine, give him to me. I think he can play with Brian Cook.
Wow.
I don't think there's many rebounds. Yeah, like, there's not many rebounds we're getting on that front court. That offensive rebounding advantage or in defensive rebounding too. I think you got that one in the bag.
All right. Derek Piper.
I go Georgie because Kofi and Georgie. Those guys played together well, didn't they? Oh no, actually they didn't. 4 and 5.
He said it. Put it down. Put it down. He said it.
Oh man. Well, I need some shooting around Kofi, that's for sure. Let's go with the
You know what I found?
this thing.
Isaac, you like took all the shooting. There's not a lot of shooting, like pure dead-eye shooters here.
I'm gonna play this guy who was a bit of an undersized 4, good rebounder, can shoot the mid-range, even out to 3. Roger Powell.
I was just feeling
it as soon as I was describing him.
That's a good fit with Kofi. That's a really good fit with Kofi. All right,
that's like a 4 made in heaven to play with Kofi Coburn. Like that's perfect.
And I'm gonna go physicality. I want some disruptiveness at the guard spot, on the off guard, some shooting, some defense.
Don't do it.
This is a biased pick, but Ravonte Rice.
God dang it! It was my pick. I wanted him. Shouldn't have picked him.
Let the record show that is the second John Gross recruit of this. We're in now the 4th round.
The overhit.
There it is.
Man, I almost want to look up this guy's shooting numbers because I don't feel like I respect him enough as a shooter because he's number 1 on my board and he has been, but I have a similar player in Darren Williams on my team. But I always thought this guy could have played with another point guard with him.
You guys had boards? You guys made boards?
Yes, of course we did.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, he shot 45% from 3 his senior year. I think if he would have had somebody else, my defense is not going to be very good. Man, or do I go with the talent for the guy who I don't know if he's going to fit in? Guys, I'm stuck. I gotta take the guy. I'm going to take him because I feel like he's one of the most underrated players in Illinois history, and I think he can play with Darren. Dimitri McCamey. Give me Dimitri McCamey.
I figured.
Jeremy, next time you're stuck, just text me your board.
Joe, you need some size, man.
Yeah, I have nobody in the post. So I will take LaRon Black.
Okay.
Because I think Piper was right. Like once the big man run went, that was you're kind of in a tough area there.
Yeah, I thought you might go late Weber era there for size, but you didn't. So you went gross there. LaRon Black, good player. Good player. You need size.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's here. I almost took him at my 3rd round pick. I'm going to go with Myers Leonard, one of the top draft picks in the Illinois basketball era. Again, I have unbelievable guards right now. Luther Head, Corey Bradford are going to stretch it from 3. That means that there's going to be plenty of room for some Io and Leonard lobs. That works out great. That Io Myers Leonard pick and pop is deadly. So I'll go there to have some size. But man, now it gets tough. To be honest, I was thinking about going to go for another guard here and then go 4 small guards and try to, go with a small ball 5. But I mean,
you're building your team like Brad Underwood and Fran McCaffrey, aren't you?
a little bit, a little bit. And then do I do this? Do I go with one of the highest rated recruits in Illinois basketball history that didn't pan out, but should have and could have been awesome if everything went well? You know what? I'm doing it. I'm going with Jeremy Richmond.
Wow.
I'm going with Jeremy Richmond, one of the best recruits all time in Illinois basketball history. I'm going to let him be him. Just run down the floor. He can offensive rebound. He can mismatch hunt. You can't switch everything onto him. He's going to abuse people. I love that. I love him as my 5th starter.
Character flags. Don't care. Just
don't care. I'm a talent. I have talent and I figure it out later.
Okay. Joey.
I don't like my positioning here because I think I could either be way too early or way too late on this. And I do not want to be way too late on this. Give me Brad Underwood.
I was waiting for the first coach.
It might be a little early. But I'd rather not be late.
He's going to score points with Brad here. He's going to watch this and be like, yeah, he took me over Bill. I would not have. I'm taking the Hall of Famer. I'm going Bill Self with my my 5th pick. This is about where I thought we'd see the coach run. So I'm going Bill Self. Derek, who you got?
I know if I don't take a coach in this turn, I'm getting John Gross.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I gotta, I'll take Bruce with one of these.
Bruce Weber's been to Elite Eight with Kansas State, man. Let's not forget that.
Although I could have given John a point guard for the first time ever in his Illini career, like coaching an Illinois team with a point guard. Maybe it'd be different. Maybe I should have waited.
Yeah.
And he's going to get one with Io, obviously with Isaac, or unless he's just going to go coachless and let Io coach the team. All right, now who do I take here? This is tough because there's a guy really high on the all-time scoring list, and he's actually on an NBA team right now that hasn't gotten picked. I don't know how well he fits in my starting five, though, because he was really more of a 4 in college, could play a 3. I'm kind of going – I like the athleticism and defense I have so far outside of Kofi because I think you got to value that beyond just your 5-man. Oh, man. You know, I'm actually looking towards the current team. And this might be a –
Don't do it.
Do it.
You know you want to do it. You know you want to do it.
But which one do you go?
That's my issue with this team. I just haven't like Terrence Shannon would be a solid player on these teams. Do we know if he's better than Ravonte Rice? Yeah, I don't know. Matthew Meyer, we've seen a good player. Is he better than Warren Carter? You know, like some of these guys we've seen before. I don't know that yet.
Also in the mix, you could pick a DJ Richardson.
All right.
All right, I got to do this. I think Terrence makes more sense. If I'm going to play Roger at the 4, I think Terrence on the wing. I'll take Terrence Shannon Jr. Athleticism is developed into a very good catch and shoot guy. I think you need that around Kofi, and I like Terrence.
All right, guys, I'm pulling out my Bill Belichick. I'm saying I don't care where you guys all have him ranked on your boards. I got to have him on my team.
Damn it.
Andres Feliz is on.
I knew that was coming.
Because I have more dog than any of you on your team. Andres Feliz. Happy. I won the draft just with that pick. Joey, who you got?
I need help. I need a good amount of help.
Well, we got one of the top 3 scorers of all time still on the board.
Right. And let's be honest, my team really has no direction at all.
You could use a long wing here that can shoot the ball.
I could use a lot of
Still need a 5 at some point.
Really, Derek? Do I? I got nothing. I need everything. This is a nightmare. Now I know why Lon backed out of this. Lon's smarter than all of us.
Can we bring up another guy that I thought that might be off the board at this point?
Yeah.
Well, after I take Malcolm Hill, you sure as hell can.
Okay. Are you taking Malcolm Hill? Is that official?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Isaac, you got to take John Gross with one of these picks.
Yeah, I'm definitely not wasting a 6th rounder on him. Not a 6th rounder. But so I was thinking about trying to fill out this roster. I'm very surprised Mike Davis is not come up in these conversations. I think Mike Davis would be a very ideal bench piece here, but I'm kind of going to risk it a little bit and go for a high ceiling type of player who I think is going to have an awesome year. And I'm going with Matt Meyer. I think that Meyer has a chance to put together one of those all-time years with what he can do. And I think that this is a perfect fit for him with my team. And if Jeremy Richmond flames out, Matt Meyer's my 4, then that's just fine. And then at 7, I'm going to go with John Gross. And here's the thing about Gross. It's so much better than Weber, so much better than Self, so much better than Brad Underwood. He's an unbelievable guy, one of the nicest guys on the team. So my team can shoot 3s. And listen, this is about talent. Coaching doesn't really matter. It's all about talent. Brad Underwood would tell you the same thing. So I have a really talented roster, and John Gross will just not hurt me.
I'm interested to see that the John Gross, Jeremy Richmond, how that plays out, that whole thing. All right, Joey, your last pick. You need some size here, man.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Isaac for the Mike Davis idea. So
can I give you some other options just to throw these guys out there? Warren Carter was a really good player.
Type it M-I. Yep.
Mike Davis.
Yep.
You could have gone Lucas Johnson.
Could have.
As an enforcer. You could have gone with Nana Egwu Defenders Club. It pains me that he's not going to be picked here.
Well, you still can. You still can. Don't shame us. Don't shame us when you have the pick.
I could, but I'm going to go with, I don't know if it's a risky pick because we know what he's turned into. The most talented player left on this board is Kendrick Nunn. And I need shooting. I need athleticism. So I'm going to go with Kendrick Nunn. I know he's not the most popular guy around here. No, he probably doesn't love being in an Illinois draft, but he's talented. He's very good. He was very good when he was here. So Derek, wrap us up, man.
Yeah, I had a couple of same guys still on your board. Another one I'd throw in there. You could take a chance on a Ty Rogers if you wanted. I don't think I can do that because I have Kofi, so I probably won't.
Ryan Randall
I think
needs size and
Ryan Randall,
defense.
yeah. Let's see.
You mentioned DJ Richardson. That's another good one.
I did, yeah, good shooter, obviously.
Trent Meacham shoots.
What about
You
Richmond?
would have pen if we're gonna, and we are for good reason, talking talent and guys that maybe didn't pan out at Illinois. Jamar Smith's another
Oh,
Had him on my board.
flat out shooter. If I could, I wouldn't mind him off the bench here, but I think I need to be a little matchup proof. I need to have a backup five that if we have a team that presents some spacing, a five guy that's got versatility. If you face a guy like Keegan Murray, Coleman.
oh,
Hawkins.
I like it. I like it,
I really like that pick.
especially if he turns into a top 40 draft pick,
I
right?
really considered him for a small ball 5.
Why didn't you?
I don't know. Jeremy, I don't know.
All right, let's recap this. Io DeSumo, Luther. This is Isaac's team. Io DeSumo, Luther Head, Corey Bradford. That's a heck of an offensive trio right there, and two guys that play defense. Myers Leonard, Jeremy Richmond. I did not expect to hear his name. Matthew Meyer and John Gross. How do you feel about that, Isaac?
It's okay. It's okay. I love my backcourt. I'm surprised that Myers dropped to me in the 4th round. I'll take it. And then I got 2 big swings in Richmond and Meyer.
Joey, heck of a start. D Brown. I thought Brandon Paul was exactly the tier I would have taken him. Trent Frazier, LaRon Black, Malcolm Hill, Mike Davis, and Brad Underwood is your coach. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I feel like we're probably going to score some points.
I think you're struggling with size there, but that's a lot of good guards and scorers.
It's 2022, Jeremy.
I got Darren, Brian Cook, James Augustine. I did not want to take 2 big men like that, but I think they can play together. Dimitri McCamey, Andres Felice, and Kendrick Nunn. My wings are my issue, but I feel pretty good about my guards and my bigs there. And I got a Hall of Fame coach, and I have Andres Felice, so I'm happy. Derek, you got Frank Williams, Kofi Coburn, Roger Powell, Ravante Rice, Terrence Shannon, Coleman Hawkins, and Bruce Weber. You're high on the current Illini.
I am. I'm baking a little bit on this year's Illini squad. I know that you like the dog that you got in your team. I got some dog as well with Ravante, Terrence Shannon. I think Frank's got some dog to him. I'm a little hesitant on I needed shooting around Kofi. I think that Raj can make some threes. Ravante shot it well. I mean, he shot like 44% from 3 his senior year. Terrence can shoot it as well. Will Bruce let this team play? Like, I think he might micromanage Frank a little bit too much. Won't like those behind the back passes. One more note on your team, though. I mean, Bill Self, high-low, Brian Cook to Augustine. That makes perfect sense. So.
Yeah. One more guy I want to mention is Serge McLean. We're bringing up some guys with dog in them. I would bring up Serge McLean. All right. Which pick did you hate from the other team the most, Isaac? Like you wanted that guy in your team. Which one pained you the most?
Man, everything just fell perfectly to my board. No, I'm just kidding.
Mine was Ravante Rice. Like that killed me, Derek. That was the guy I thought fit perfectly on my team. And you stole him from me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I really did not want the first pick because I wanted to get one of those elite big men. So the fact that I didn't get one of Kofi or Brian Cook kind of stung a little bit. So I'd have loved one of those 2 guys.
Yeah, but Luther Head is. It feels like he's like one of the most underrated players in Illinois, even though he got all the accolades. It still feels like because everyone talks about D and Darren. Derek, did any pick pain you?
I thought having 4, I wasn't fully confident that he'd be there. I thought there was an outside chance to go D and Darren somewhere in the first 3, and maybe someone would take Frank over him, but didn't ultimately get there. So that one hurt a little bit. Bill Self, right before Bruce, was a tough one. Although I didn't know that Joey started the run of coaches, and all of a sudden the dominoes fell there. So, yeah, I'd say those 2 for sure.
Joey?
I mean, I wanted Brian Cook, but now the more I look at this, Isaac kind of worked perfectly. Because once the 3 went, you could just wait on a coach forever. I mean, that worked out. You either wanted to be one of the first 2 or just wait it out.
Yeah, that was the game plan. I wanted to pick last. I was fine with Gross because talent wins. That was kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah, you know what I noticed? Look at that first round. Io, D, Darren, Frank. I know Bill Self, Lon Kruger got Frank, but Bill Self recruited D and Darren. Underwood gets Io. Bruce got the best years of D and Darren. When you have a great point guard, guys, things go pretty well. right? And that's Derek, you brought it up. John Gross actually has a point guard on Isaac's team. So you just wonder if you would have landed, one of those guys, whether it was Brunson or Juwan Evans or whoever it was, could have turned out completely different for him.
Yeah,
Might still be here.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing I was going to say about Joey's team that's funny is, like, could you argue that Trent and D Brown are the best two point guard defenders in Illinois program history? Could you argue like they're the best lead guard defenders in the since 2000? I mean, not maybe lead guard in history, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a small backcourt, but man, they're pit bulls. Like that. That's like I think of Rick Pitino's teams, right? Just getting after it. Yeah, and Brandon Paul there too. That's a heck of a trio like that. You can play a fun style. And Malcolm Hill's obviously a good shooter, just small, just a small team, but Mike Davis helps.
I mean, it's 2022, Jeremy. People play 5 out. Okay. I don't need to hear we don't have size in the post. That's fine.
How you guarding Kofi?
Doesn't matter. She's going to run it up. Get out of my way.
How you guarding Augustine?
Same thing I told Derek. Doesn't matter. Get out of my way.
All right. Isaac, how would you rank these teams? I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to trust you to be have no, bias here. Go ahead.
Piper, I really like your team. I think you could argue that Kofi's the best big man in Illinois basketball history, and Frank Williams has to be in the conversation as the best point guard in Illinois basketball history. So like that combo is awesome. And if Terrence Shannon and Coleman Hawkins are really good, we could look back in this in a year and go, yep, that's probably the winner. I like Derek's a lot. I like Jeremy's probably second. I don't know. I think my team could be interesting for second, but I think people will get a little bit scared about the Jeremy Rich and Matthew Meyer combination. So I'll go Jeremy second, Joey third, and I'll round it out last.
You just have a lot of combustibility there, Isaac. That's a high risk, high reward team, which I
also have the most likable player in Illinois basketball history in Io DeSumo.
Yeah, in the discussion, right?
Yeah.
D Brown, pretty likable. Derek, how would you rank?
I think I like Isaac's team more than he does. I mean, his first, especially Io and Luther in the backcourt. And then, I mean, if you're going to run some pick and roll, and Io made those great decisions of hitting the corner, and there's a big difference, no offense to him, hitting DeMonte Williams in the corner versus hitting Corey Bradford. Myers at the 5 is interesting because we didn't see the ultimate upside of Myers at Illinois versus him further down the road. And I like Isaac's team a lot. I like yours as well. I mentioned the Cook Augie high-low makes a lot of sense. Darren's fantastic. Dimitri could play with another guard, namely Eric Gordon, I thought, back in the day. I just said that name on Inquirer podcast. People aren't going to like that.
Mr. Frazier just hung up.
We didn't take Chester.
I like my squad. No, if
we want to
slight Joey too much, I think, like Isaac brought up, D was a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. We know how good Trent was defensively. That backcourt trio, if Mike Davis can manage at the 5, I think he can make it work. And he's got Brad, so they're going to be tough.
Yeah,
we're going to have a target on our back. That's why I got Brad, because I knew you, Derek, would hate on this team, and nobody could put a target on us like the coach I drafted.
There you go. If we went 10 rounds, I think Chester would have gotten drafted at some point, because before there was Andres Felice, Chester Frazier had that dog in him. He had that 99 on Madden of that dog in him. All right, boys, this was fun. We'll have to do another one of these at some point about something else. But
let's put it up to a vote. Let's see what the
people say. I'm interested to see who they go with, because I like my team, but there are 2 pieces that are similar in Darren and Dimitri, and 2 pieces that are same position as Brian Cook and James Augustine. So the fit is odd, but I like my talent. Derek, you got a good team of. I like your versatility. I would probably go Derek's number 1 here if I'm not picking my own team. I just like the versatility your team has. Isaac, I just think your team's going to blow up in February.
What we're leaning on here is that we just make enough threes that it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like on a bad day, we're still making double-digit threes every single night.
Which is true. You can beat anybody on any day. Joey, you just need to outrun everybody. That's your team.
That's not something I've heard before in my whole life.
Except LeBron can't run.
That's true. That's true. Mike Davis can run. Get Mike Davis running up and down the court. All right, that'll do it. Thank you, guys. That was fun.